Introducing a breakthrough in cat litter from Arm & Hammer.
Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal is totally different than what I've used before. Even after 7 days, it was odor-free. There was some sort of sealing magic happening.
Only Clump & Seal forms a tight seal around odor and destroys it with unique Arm & Hammer odor eliminators and baking soda for a 7-day odor-free home guaranteed.
I've tried every product. This is really pretty remarkable.
New Clump & Seal cat litter. 7-day odor-free home guaranteed. Look on the package for $3 off.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bachelor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bachelor After Show.
Miami, South Beach, bringing the heat, Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that? Jig it out, Here I am in the place where I come let go. In Miami, the base and the sunset low. Every day like a Mardi Gras, everybody party all day. No work, all play, okay? So we sip a little something, leave the rest to spill. Me and Charlie at the bar, running up a high bill, nothing less.
What you just saw was our feeble attempt at dancing. We all know that with 27 million weekly downloads, listened to in 75 different countries, we're your one-stop, one destination for true after-show entertainment, and this is The Bachelor, Season 18, Episode 7, and we all know what you just saw. That was our recreation of Andy and
Juan Pablo dancing. I can't dance either, so I loved her even more for this.
Now, but I gotta say, Kat, what's up with the dress? I mean,
I didn't even realize. I feel like I'm wearing the exact same dress as Andy tonight on their one-on-one date.
I'm sorry, but I may be a bit biased, but I think you look smashing.
Aw, thank you.
And a round of applause.
You were telling me to cover up earlier.
I was. I mean, no, actually, because it really helps our 18 to 35 demo for young males.
Okay.
But welcome back. We've missed you.
Thank you. I've missed you guys too. It's so much fun. I feel like the last 2 weeks I've had so much that I've wanted to talk about, and I talk about it on Twitter, but other than that, I don't get to
we're going to hear it tonight.
Rant about The Bachelor, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, a quick shout out to Danny, who couldn't make it this week, but
yeah,
definitely.
He's in Chicago, in my hometown. Ask me what I did on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
It was...
I didn't get to ask you.
Oh, okay. Ask me.
What did you do for Valentine's Day?
There was a lot of romance, a lot of making out. I watched The Bachelor Australia the entire season.
You hardlined the whole season?
I mean, over the weekend, yeah. It was really good.
Okay, now I'm going to have to do that.
I know. It's one of those things where, as much as I love The Bachelor in the U.S., I feel like I'm a nerd and I can't get enough. And The Bachelor Canada and The Bachelor Australia, I feel like are so much more grounded in that. Here, they want to create a lot of drama, which is fun. It's a kind of a different show. But on those two, I feel like they bring in 25 girls that are all normal and all good catches, all girls that you could see The Bachelor dating in real life. Okay. So, there's the one girl that's a little bit too much of a partier. There's the one girl who, is the preacher's daughter who hasn't ever been on a date or whatever it is. But they're all normal girls that you would find out find. It's not like 5 normal girls and 20 crazy girls.
Or stunt casting, sure. No, but now also, is this the first season? This is the first season for Australia.
That was their first season, yeah. And I think it premiered in September of 2013 and went through the end of November. I won't give away who won, but it's also great because you have no freaking idea of who the front runner is the entire time. And the guy, Tim, who was the Bachelor in Australia this past season.
The swimmer, right, or model or something like that?
He was a chiropractor, and it was very weird to see, and I think they did this with The Bachelor Canada as well, but he's like, I had no idea who I was going to pick until the final 2. Like, he had no idea until the final one-on-one dates with his top 2. He was like, at the end of his last one-on-one date, he's like, I knew. Like, I had to say goodbye to you and do the rose ceremony still, but he's like, that's when he knew. And it's crazy. I feel like it makes it more real. And as a viewer, you're more intrigued because you have no idea who it is, as well as, you know, this guy clearly had no idea who it was. And with Bachelor Canada, Bianca, who won, she was, you know,
out of the blue.
Out of the blue, yes.
I have a hard time with it. I know we're gonna get to the Bachelor America in 2 seconds.
Sorry, I was just so excited about this.
No, but and I've heard even, is it Jason Mesnick talk about this? You know. They know within week 1
I think that they have their
4.
front runners, yeah. And that seemed like it stayed the same throughout the entire process. But he had no idea who was going to be the final one, and they're still together. So it seems like the other countries have a little bit better of a track record.
Well, this is only season 1. We're on season 84.
I know, but
so.
the Bachelor Canada couple is still together. This couple, even though it's only been 3 or 4 months since the end of it, still together.
All right, well, a lot to be said. Even I have hopes that Juan Pablo finds his final one as well and stays with her as well, like the other countries as well. But I feel so rude. I have not introduced Roya, who's running our 1s and 2s tonight. What's going on, Roya?
Hello. I'm working on getting you some air. I promise. I will not walk, you know.
Don't worry. This is like Juan Pablo in Miami. He was
sweating tonight. I'm good, though. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Well,
you have like 6 layers on.
Okay. Let's talk about the show. Overall thoughts. What did you think about tonight?
Tonight I thought was really good. I don't think I'm prepared for the next week because we're going to have 2 episodes in 1 week. That's going to be crazy.
And the biggest drama that we've ever seen.
Seriously?
Really? You're not buying it?
No. I mean, I think that it's going to be drama, but every single season they say it's the biggest drama, most dramatic, whatever. I'm like, just tell me it's going to be a good episode. Don't, like, overwhelm me with all these things because then I get disappointed.
Okay. All right. We'll get into that as we get into our predictions, but let's just dive into, we go back to Miami, to Juan Pablo's hometown, and of course we don't waste any time, and we start off with, yes, you're already going to say something. I can
what?
See,
No,
I thought you were going to say something.
On.
I was going to say, my personal favorite, my front runner, Charlene.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm kind of sad on this one.
Yeah.
I know, because
we all saw it coming after last week.
We did. I even wrote it down at 8:04. I was like, she's going home. Because they were already setting it up.
Yeah.
How conflicted she was, and we've been hearing this for weeks.
I think that clearly at the beginning of this episode, they edited it a lot more. So Juan Pablo was like, oh, Charlene, she was the one. She was the one. Like, I love this about her. And that wasn't really, well, not at the beginning of the episode, but there were a couple voiceovers which just sounded like, you know, she was who he said, I'm gonna take her to hometowns or whatever it was. And
I had no doubt though, but
yeah.
he liked her from the start. She got the first impression rose, and he always kept on saying how different she was, almost like she separated herself from the pack from the get-go.
Yeah.
I thought he liked her throughout, but then as the whole process went out, I'm having a hard time this season.
I never saw her as the final one. I saw her as making it very far, but I didn't really see it. They looked like they were in lust. They weren't in love. And
absolutely.
She even said that. She's like, there's a lot of making out, and it's hard to, have conversations because all I want to do is kiss you. And at the end of the day, while chemistry is great, it only gets you so far.
Right, and did a lot even happen on the date besides them on a yacht kind of making out?
I mean, there might have been things that we didn't see. I'm sure there was a lot of conversation that they've had that, we don't get to be a part of.
Is it because she's in the microscope, you're in that fishbowl? Because when I was watching the episode, I had a feeling she was going to leave even last week, but then watching the episode, I was like, maybe she's just really afraid, because she even said that this is what I want. And, one quote I did love that she said, I wish I was dumber. What is that?
I wish that too sometimes. Not saying that I'm smart, but you wish that you were more naive so that things could be more blissful almost.
So you're saying The Bachelor's a victim of its own success then? Because this is cycle 18 now. We've been through so many of these as opposed to Canada and Australia, because she said, even Claire had something to say about Charlene, where she was saying she was not getting excited about the date. And I saw that as just someone that's really, really grounded, somewhat of an intellectual, and she's just so in her head about things.
She definitely was in her head, but I think that what I really appreciated about Charlene leaving is that it showed us as viewers, which I noticed in Bachelor Australia and Bachelor Canada as well, is it showed us as viewers that these girls are also picking the guy at the end of the day. It's not just him picking from this batch of 25 women. It's mutual. It's a mutual selection.
You know, and that's a fantastic point, and the fact that she went and, in a weird way, kind of broke up with the girls first to let them know what she was doing. And
they're like, why are you so fancy?
Yeah, but if you were the girls, wouldn't, and no offense, not in a mean way, but wouldn't you want the people to leave? So that gives you more time. It narrows the field.
Yes and no, but you almost, and I've heard this from so many people who have been on the show, is that you develop a stronger bond with the people you're in the house with because you spend 24/7 with those people. You get, maybe 24 hours in total with the Bachelor or Bachelorette. So ultimately, it seems like these people who are in the house develop stronger friendships that are going to last a lifetime. They're more likely to do that than to have a lifelong relationship, unfortunately.
No, you mentioned the fact how little time they get. Chelsea even mentioned it because she had only spent half a day with him throughout the whole process. So, I mean,
she might have spent a little bit longer, but one-on-one time, probably half a day.
Right, and we all know that by the end, the one who gets the final rose gets a total of maybe 48 hours with him. That's what they've said year in after year. You're making that lifelong decision after 2 days. But anything else that stood out with? Oh, because I thought maybe she'll come back at the end, like you've seen in previous seasons. Maybe he's gonna go after her. And then when she was leaving, she's like, he doesn't have what I'm looking for in a forever partner. Case closed. Done.
I was expecting him to run down the hall after her or something, and maybe she was expecting that too. Maybe I was actually kind of questioning whether because she's been fishing for, she's asked him so many times. Every time I feel like they get one-on-one time, she's always like, so how do you feel about me? And then she, they make out and she snaps back into, oh, okay, now I feel comfortable. But I was kind of wondering whether she was fishing for, him to say, no, you're the one. Don't leave. This has been about you the entire time.
But he can't say that.
He could if she was. If she was, yes, he would say that.
But I thought by contractually he couldn't say that.
If she left? Des told Brooks that he was the one when he was leaving. She's like, no, you're the one.
Okay. All right. Good call. All right. Good call. For being such the intellectual, I think it deep down inside, she needed that approval, I guess.
I think she realized, and this is something that I fault myself with sometimes, is you go into a relationship, and I feel like at the beginning, your gut is probably the best guide, and you go into these relationships, and you're like, oh, well, this is probably what's going to be our demise at the end. And she was smart enough to realize, this isn't going to work out. While it's fun, while we could probably, outside of this, have a relationship for a while, ultimately it's not going to last. So that's why she left.
Okay. Once again, I'm so happy you're here. No, but what I was going to say is, what is it of her to say, I didn't want to take someone else's slot? I want to take someone else's place.
Because I'm sure he reassured her that she was going to go further. She knew that she was going to go to the hometowns. Nikki knew that she was going to go to the hometowns. These girls, I feel like for the most part, they know, or somehow Juan Pablo is letting them know that they're safe.
He's giving like a Juan Pablo wink.
I don't know. I feel like it's just the way that he makes them feel, and he makes everyone kind of feel special.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But they all feel safe, and so she probably felt like she was the special one, even though all of them are the special ones. And he made her feel safe enough to know that she was going to go to the next week. She was right about that.
But what I'm saying is, let's say that person that finished, that he picked fourth, in essence, he didn't pick her in the first place because he had picked Charlene. How does that make you feel? Like it's almost like a do-over? To me, it just feels weird in the psychology of the whole thing. I know.
But if he genuinely doesn't know who he's going to end up with at the end, and those are his top 4, then... But after tonight, I'm pretty sure we know who he is going to pick at the end.
Oh, really? Okay, why am I acting surprised? Because I kind of have a feeling, too, of who I think he's going to pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a huge telltale sign.
Okay, well, then let's move on to the second date.
Camilla.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're on the same page because we didn't even talk about this. The second date with Nikki. So, really? I thought I was the only person feeling this.
Are you kidding me? Like, if you're going to introduce your daughter to only one person and your baby mama, I would have been still, like, if it had just been Renee that he had introduced Camilla to, I would have understood that because she's a mother, and maybe he brought in her son as well, but he took Nikki on this date specifically and introduced her to Camilla and Carla.
Sure.
So that just shows that he's feeling her more than the other girls. That's not something, and he said that in the past. He's like, it's not something that I take lightly. He protects Camilla so much.
Right.
He says he never, brings that many girls around her, and when he does bring a girlfriend around her, they don't hold hands, they don't kiss, she doesn't sleep over, whatever it is. So that was a huge telltale sign that she is the front runner right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if you picked this up. To me, I think Nikki reminds me a little bit of Carla.
Yeah.
I know I said...
I think Andy and Nikki both remind me of her.
And men tend to have a type per se.
But I don't think we've ever seen in any season one of the girls meeting the family before the final 2.
Right.
Because that's when it happens, is you meet the family on the final 2. Even Emily only introduced Ricky to one guy, and that was Jeff. She didn't introduce Ricky to Ari.
Sure, yeah. Good memory tonight, man. You had your ginkgo today.
Clearly, I'm obsessed with The Bachelor. I watch every season in every country.
You do. Next is Bachelor Guam or Guam. Okay. Now,
what?
This date, my English not too good. This date was in a weird kind of way the most grounded date this season.
It was completely.
Because this is a day in the life of Juan Pablo. Going to Camilla's recital, and yes, going to a major league ballpark. You're like, wow, but that's his job. So it's like a day in the life of Juan Pablo's life.
Yeah.
Wanted to see how she reacted to it. He has an extraordinary life, and
and throwing these metaphorical curveballs at her.
Like?
Did you see what I did there? Because he works at a baseball. Okay.
I saw that.
So, it's like introducing her to his daughter and his daughter's mom. Yay! You're gonna meet them today. Maybe you should have worn a shirt that's less booby.
I didn't even pick that one up.
I mean, I'm sure, like, if I were prepared to, every time that I've known that I'm gonna meet, like, a boyfriend's parents or whatever it is, you dress more conservatively, you mentally prepare yourself, you go get flowers or whatever it is, but...
She didn't know, though.
I know she didn't know. Okay. That's why it's a curveball. That's a huge curveball. I'd be scared S-less.
Okay.
Poop my pants.
And sorry, I had to backtrack for a second. When he told her the surprise, you could tell that she wasn't, for a split second, I think she thought she was going to go to Cuba or something. She's like, oh my God, okay.
She's like, oh.
Yes.
But that's why she's so confident. She's like, I'm the one. I was wondering whether she told the girls when she got back, because it didn't seem like any of them knew.
Yes, and that would cause a huge one-on-one with
Claire
Claire.
would not be happy about that.
Yes, who we're going to get into the battle of the possible mean girls here. Because I think we have differing views on who the mean girl is.
Yeah.
Okay. But anything else with Claire's date that we picked up? Aside the fact that he wants to kiss her in 37,642
Claire,
chairs.
you mean Nikki.
Sorry.
Mixing them up. They are kind of interchangeable, though, at times. Yeah. But Nikki, I mean, that just says so much introducing her to his family already.
But Carla, I mean, that was
a little bit weird. It seemed like at first neither Nikki nor Carla were smiling, but at the end, when they were saying goodbye, it looked like they were both happy about it. I've heard rumors, and I kind of want to address it, that Juan Pablo was only on the season to promote himself and to promote Carla,
right.
Which would account for why she was on the show.
Yeah, because that was odd.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. Why would he introduce... And I know that it's kind of like this is going to be part of your life too, since you never really think about that while Nikki or whoever Juan Pablo picks at the end is acquiring a daughter. They're also, this is Carla is part of their family. She's going to be around and a huge part of their life.
Why didn't she get a moment on camera talking about the possibility of that? If we're going to introduce her.
Maybe that's going to happen later on.
Yeah.
Or maybe it did happen and they just didn't want to show it because of time constraints, or they didn't want to make you think that it was definitely going to be Nikki.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm 98% sold on Nikki, but I think there's still a chance for someone else.
Oh, I definitely think there's still a chance, but that was huge. Nikki could bite herself, and I don't know.
She could self-implode by some of the stuff we saw. I don't know if it was editing, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Not the most mature.
Oh, I never said that, Cathy.
I just did.
Okay. If you guys are watching us live on AfterBuzzTV.com, hello, and let us know what you think. Is it a done deal? Is it Nikki or is it someone else? A lot of people like Claire. I mean, our superfan Brett.
I like Andy. Andy for the win. That's my awkward dancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like last year's rap. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna bring back the rap.
Bring back the rap. So let's get into the group date. And did anything really happen here that I'm thinking of where, okay, the winner of the date got, of course, their ticket to the hometown and also a night with Juan Pablo.
Yeah.
But it was more of just a one-on-one with Juan Pablo and how they felt and how he feels with them.
That was also a pretty grounded date for, like a night on the town. That's kind of like a very first or second date vibe where, you walk around a little bit, you go to a club or a restaurant or whatever it is, and salsa dance. Or don't dance.
He's Latin. It's funny.
It's his hometown, so he was showing her part of it.
And it was really cute and endearing to see this striking, gorgeous woman in a red dress that had a hard time dancing.
I thought at first I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I was like, she's wearing some high heels and she's on a platform, so you probably don't want to fall off. That's why you're taking baby steps. And then she was like, no, I'm the worst dancer in the world.
I wonder if that could be even a point. This is so weird. This is a weird thought, but could that be the difference there? The fact that she doesn't dance because he's the salsa.
Nikki doesn't dance either. We saw that on her K-pop date.
Oh boy, you're right. So what's gonna happen?
Can Claire dance?
I have a feeling she can. I'm just saying.
She can dance in the ocean naked.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay, Cathy,
I missed that.
You were gone the last 2 weeks, and I know you had some definite thoughts on the ocean, and we wanted to talk about them.
Okay.
Your thoughts.
Just 30 seconds on the ocean date.
Go.
So first off, I don't blame Claire at all because she would not have gotten to go there if the producers had not okayed it. While I think it was a little bit selfish to think like, oh, well, I get to go have this extra, or I deserve this extra time, I don't think that is that great. But I also think that Juan Pablo, in Claire's defense, I think it was a very dickish move to blame her for that because he could have very well said, no, I don't want to do this. I have to think of Camilla. And he did not do that. He did, even the worst thing is he blamed it completely on her. He should have said, this is something that neither you or I should have done, or that I shouldn't have participated in because it was his fault more than hers. I don't know. Juan Pablo, you're a jerk.
And did they or didn't they? I'm giving you a full minute.
She has said that she didn't.
Okay, enough said.
So,
all right, moving
I believe
on.
her.
Back to tonight's episode. All right, now.
I still don't know if I like her though.
Okay, all right. Well, let's. We're breezing by tonight. I'm thinking anything stood out. But how much you love Andy, and
I really love their chemistry together too. I think that he is really looking for a strong, independent woman, and that's who Andy is. And if she is not the last one standing there, I want to see her as the next Bachelorette because I think that she's the total package.
she is. She is the total package. But my question for this season is, how does she step away from her career, or have enough time to have that career with Juan Pablo, Camilla,
I know.
Carla?
She would have to get up and move to Miami, and I mean, that's difficult.
It seems like she would. She's the one I think is really her arc. I think we said it at the beginning of this season. She's this strong career woman who was always in control. And you see her being so much more vulnerable right now. She was crying on the beach with Juan Pablo. Why? Just because she doesn't know where she stands.
Yeah.
And to see that in and out, as some people we might think is a little cray-cray in past seasons, with her, you see she's opening
It's
another part of
endearing, yeah.
Yes, another part of herself.
And she said at the very beginning of the season, while she is this powerhouse at work and, in the law office or wherever, she wants a guy who's going to be dominant at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think it could work between them.
Okay, yeah. There is a difference between her and Charlene, who both have they're very career driven. But I think
at this point, Charlene is putting her career now in front of anything else.
Right.
Including dating.
Okay, and it's a much different story with Andy.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't fault her for that at all. I think that, each person has their own path, and if that's what she finds important, then go for it, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. But yeah, well, I want to say one thing about them being in Miami. I really wish that every season, just like Emily Maynard's, was set in the Bachelor or Bachelorette's hometown, because I feel like it just grounds it so much more. It makes it so much more relatable, and it's really seeing if these girls or guys can fit into their lifestyle, which is ultimately, at the end of the whole process, where they're going to end up.
What you're looking for, sure. I mean, especially he being a parent. He even mentioned it on the episode he was away from Camilla for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And how hard that was on him.
Yeah, so...
Think of Renee. All the other past bachelors or bachelorettes who, one of their contestants has had a kid, they've allowed them to see them at some point. And this is the first season where it's kind of weird. He hasn't surprised Renee or Cassandra with
a trip,
their kid. Yeah.
And he mentioned also that they were in week 7. He'd been getting to know Charlene for 7 weeks, so I imagine he's been getting to know all the girls for 7 weeks. So Renee's away from Ben for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Why haven't we heard about that? We hear about it.
We have. She's so strong. I mean, if you've noticed, every single girl, whenever they have a problem, she's the one they're talking to every single time.
So if they don't end together, how can she not be the Bachelor? Every board I read,
she could be too. I really like her. She's just so genuine, which,
Would it work though? Because she is a little more grounded, and she's more mature, and with the Bachelor itself, you're going to be dealing with an older demo with the types of men that would probably be suited for her. I'm sorry if I'm making a generalization, but will that equal ratings? Would ABC balk at that?
I don't know, and usually they go towards, someone who's, I was about to say cheeky because I've been watching so much Australian television lately. Someone who's a little bit more feisty and, has that like over the top bubbly personality. And while I think that she is, a very sweet person, I don't know that would translate to television. So
okay, and I mean, and who's to say?
I still think she's a great catch, and
right.
I'm sure she will find someone, whether it's on TV or tough.
Well, cause she could find Juan Pablo. So she's still in it, absolutely. And I wanted to move on to...
She could be the dark horse, too,
Yes.
because we really haven't seen... He waited so long, but he still kept her around, and he didn't do that with Cassandra.
And that was his vow, that he would keep them until he knew they weren't the one. So she's still there. I mean, like you brought up the fact that ABC could be holding her back, and just they could spring it on us. Like at the very end, out of nowhere, we're all thinking one way, and all out of the blue.
Yeah.
We've, tonight we saw her on the couch, and she was distraught the fact that she didn't get a rose and that Andy did. And then Nikki came down and was talking. She saw Chelsea, Nikki, and of course Claire having different reactions to not getting the rose. Was Nikki wrong? Was she right? What happened in that whole scenario where Nikki comes down, talks about all three girls? Chelsea says something, Claire says something very, she gets very defensive, and Nikki just storms off.
So it seemed like it escalated very fast, and I couldn't tell whether they cut out certain things due to time. But yeah, it definitely seemed like that whole fight escalated fast. Whether they cut out stuff for time or this is just something that's been escalating for weeks now, and the tension between them just became, unbearable for Nikki and Claire, I don't know. But honestly, I felt like it was very childish of both of them arguing. It clearly, like, they were arguing over who paid for the room and who had the rights to the room and all this stuff. I'm like, just let out your actual feelings. If you're going to confront one another, it's clearly not about the room. There are other feelings there. So if you're going to have this breakdown fight, then voice them now, because it's kind of immature.
Yeah, because I do see like a division. I don't see it being completely one way or another.
I think
question
they're both kind of in the wrong.
Yeah, and I said, who's the real Nikki, or is Claire Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction? One of the two. Because I know they edit these in a certain way, and I don't know who is whom.
And normally you can tell who the witch with the bee is in the season by, the girls' reaction. So it will be very interesting to see the women tell all and after the final rose to hear from the other girls as to what really happened, even though we still will get an edited version of that. But it's very telling to see, who has the most friends in the house. And it seems like both of them have girls who are on their side. Right. So I can't tell if either of them are really bitchy or if I would react in that same way in that situation, because I'm sure I wouldn't keep my cool. But I don't know.
It doesn't matter, because why did Nikki leave so abruptly? Because I know she's got beef with Claire, but what about Chelsea and Renee?
Did you hear the one line where Nikki said, "I didn't want to hear you talk about my friend Andy"? And that's where Nikki said she thought the conversation was going, was that Claire was going to badmouth Andy for getting this rose, which she deserved because that's what Juan Pablo wanted to do. And Nikki was like, I didn't want to be a part of that because that's my friend.
That's completely valid then. I missed that line.
Should she have walked away like that? No, she should have said, hey guys, I think I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I'm really tired and wiped from the day. That's the mature thing to do. You lie about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
because no, it's just much more respectful than walking out mid-sentence.
Yeah, because she was there for a total, it seemed like, according to the show, like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, how you guys doing? I'm out. And especially how emotionally charged they are at this point of the show. It felt like a slap in the face, especially like Renee, who has nothing to do with any. She seems like she's the mama bear. I'm not picking sides, and yet to me it just felt weird, and I don't know which girl is the mean girl, because I'm feeling a Regina George mean girl out of one of the two, if not both. I don't know, and I want to.
And I don't really know that either of them are mean girls. Okay. While I think that it was immature in that moment, I kind of feel like the one-on-one interviews with the producers were a little bit provoked, and I'm sure the the producers pretend to be their best friends, and they're like, oh my gosh, can you believe Claire? And Nikki was like, yeah, that bitch. And that's just what they do. So I don't really know whose side I'm on either.
Okay. And how about when should we just jump forward to the cocktail night when they're all wearing stunning jewel tones?
Yeah.
Which you did love.
Oh my gosh, they all looked great together collectively.
They were like a rainbow except for
Yeah.
the dark.
You would never think there was tension because you thought that they all color coordinated their outfits.
Yes. And and of course, my favorite part, the one-on-one time when Chelsea had to go pee and it was Nikki and Claire. Let's reenact that. Okay.
So awkward. I mean, the tension was just palpable. You could feel it through the screen. And yeah, you said it while we were watching. We've never seen that much dead air on television, I think, ever.
No.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's so awkward. And I feel like that was kind of a producer moment. While Chelsea might have had to go to the bathroom, where was Andy? Where was Renee? One of them was definitely talking to Juan Pablo. Was the other in an interview or something? Because like that just didn't make sense as to why everyone was gone at that moment.
Mm-hmm. You know, and one thing I did notice, and then of course I wanted to see where they all sat. Mm-hmm. Like Andy sat by Nikki.
Well, Andy and Nikki are clearly really close. They still talk on Twitter, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. See, and then of course Renee, and then Chelsea where they sat, and then Juan Pablo. I was like, ooh, where's he gonna sit? Where's he gonna sit? And maybe I was reading too much into it, and I saw that he sat between Nikki and Andy, who I think it's between them.
Yeah.
I really do. And sorry, I just blew predictions. No,
We've been predicting all night, so.
So, any surprises? I want to ask you, let's say this is all, like you've brought up brilliantly all night, that it's editing, that they want us to see it a certain way and they're going to just throw us a curveball.
Yeah.
And because I'm starting to feel Nikki's overconfident. I'm feeling a lot of overconfidence because all episodes she's been saying, my boyfriend.
She has been. And I mean, a lot of the girls I feel like use that term, but she's using it like that is hers and hers alone.
Is it overconfidence, or is it she really feel when you're emotionally charged, Cathy? If you're you're gonna stake your claim, that's your man. Would you do that? I'm just asking.
What?
Like my boyfriend. This is my like.
If I'm in a relationship, but I've never dated a guy who's dating 5 other girls. Thankfully, or at least I hope I haven't been dating. That's awkward. Okay.
Moving on. What I was going to say, and of course, the lovely entrance at 1 hour and 44 minutes of Chris Harrison.
Yes. Oh my gosh, he gets paid so much money to do nothing.
We say this every week. I'm keeping track when he makes an appearance every episode. Last week it was hour 46. Now it's an hour 44. So he's working a little harder this week. We're teasing you, Chris.
I love him so much, but at this point, do they even need him on the show?
Yes, they do.
You have 1 rose left.
Yes. Juan Pablo. Ladies. I know. But still, that's the best gig in Hollywood. I say it every week.
He used to, I feel like, every week have a long monologue about, and he still does the voiceovers, but...
Yeah, that's right. But
you don't notice that as much. But it's still like...
Okay. We've broken down Chris Harrison. Now our final 4. Andy, Nikki, Claire, and the 4th one, Renee.
Yes.
Does that mean he wasn't going to pick Renee?
Oh.
See, that was my point, like 37 minutes ago, the fact that Charlene, because how about this scenario? He picks Renee, and just something out of the blue happens these next few weeks. Why is it
Renee, though? Couldn't have been, maybe he wasn't going to pick Claire.
Possibly.
Maybe he wasn't going to pick Nikki, and she just thought she was going to get picked.
Oh, that would've been
She was
classic.
probably going to get picked.
Yeah, because she even says it like that. Oh, did I get a rose? I didn't get a rose? Oh, I was going to get one anyway.
That was definitely the producers, egging her on, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, she definitely was going to get a rose after meeting his daughter. He wasn't going to introduce someone to his daughter and then kick him out that week.
Oh.
Not going to happen.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to stir stuff up because I want to end at least on a positive note. Let's talk about Chelsea's exit.
Oh my gosh. She is the sweetest girl ever.
Okay. We've talked about Renee being the Bachelorette. What about, and you've talked about Andy. What about Chelsea? Because you've noticed always, like, when Desiree made her exit, when Sean made his exit, they always had this poignant exit that it hit everyone in the heart. You know, like, you start rooting for them.
Honestly, though, Cassandra's last week, I was rooting for her so much, and I would love to see her be the Bachelorette as well.
Okay, I think a fan wrote that because I think I brought that up as well, and a fan said that she didn't have as many moments as other people have had.
Yeah, we really didn't see much of Chelsea this entire season. She was always just kind of there.
But she's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous. I just don't see, like, they have not set it up at all for her to be that next
You mean
person.
like Juan Pablo, because he had so many moments last season.
He didn't have so many moments, but he also had 85,000 Twitter followers before the end of the season. So I think they were confident in the ratings because there was just so much overwhelming fan response for him. Chelsea, I don't think has that.
Chelsea fans,
as much as I love her,
start following her on Twitter,
yeah.
and you could get her on the show if she wants to do it, because she wants to find that special guy.
Yeah.
I just think she's just super genuine. So, with that said, any final thoughts on tonight's episode?
It was fun. I love being back.
All right, now do we have any news and gossip this
Yes,
week?
we do.
Oh my gosh!
I am back, and I am back with a lot of news and gossip. So first off, I know you're wondering, did Des and Chris set a wedding date? Unfortunately, they haven't. But on Dez's Instagram account, there was a wedding clock countdown. It was fake. Someone hacked her account, and they removed it, or I guess she wasn't able to get back into her account, so she has to have a new Instagram account. It's all very difficult to understand. But yeah, no news on when they will get married or if they've set a date yet.
Wow, that's like such misleading news.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yes.
You have something else to make up for that?
Yes. So
Okay.
better news. Someone who is engaged. KCB. What? Are you sad?
I'm always sad when we lose one of our flock.
Oh, well.
No, congratulations.
Congratulations to KCB. She got engaged over Valentine's Day weekend to a music publisher named Rusty Gaston. And she announced the happy news via her Instagram. She said, "I cannot believe I get to marry my best friend. I am so blessed to have such an amazing man. I just want everyone to know, #future Mrs. Gaston, #bliss, #love, #Mr. and Mrs." And they showed the ring, and they had a pillow that said Mr. and Mrs. Kind of cheeseballs, but super cute.
Yeah, that's KCB was always kind of like the idealist, very sweet, and congratulations to them. Awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, other than Ben and, you know, her past boyfriends, Casey also dated Ty Brown, if you remember him from the Bachelor franchise, who is now engaged to Elizabeth Kitt.
What?
Yes. Very small.
I was going to say kind of
dating
incestuous.
pool. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Wow, so congratulations to them as well. There's a whole lot of congratulations to
And
everyone.
they actually got engaged back like last October, but
They just let us know now?
no, it was just because Casey got engaged that I wanted to bring up the Ty thing, because we haven't been around, you know, like the Bachelor's only around in January, and then we, you know, have Bachelorette in May, I believe, or over the summer, early summer, and then we don't really have anything for a really long time. So we didn't get to report on that news earlier. Last piece of news and gossip is Trista Sutter came to Los Angeles this past week to do some press, and she caught up with Celebified, my other job, and she said that her and Ryan are going to be on a new reality show called Marriage Boot Camp, and that's going to premiere in May on WeTV.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations to them both. I totally can see Trista, but Ryan always seemed he's a little more reserved.
He is more reserved, but what they're going to be is it kind of sounds like they're going to be coaches or mentors.
Okay.
I believe, I didn't really get full details on it, but it sounds like they're going to be coaches and mentors to couples. And Trista was saying that she doesn't think that you have to have a problem in your relationship to have marriage counseling, because sometimes it can just make it that much better, and, you know.
Very true.
Help it last.
I agree 100% with that. Yeah, so it's almost, helping them out before they need the help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Help you guys or help couples to communicate better. And yeah,
Absolutely.
sounds
So
like a good idea.
thank you for the news and gossip. So good to have news and gossip. Finally, we missed
it's good
you.
to be back.
All right, so before we get out of here, we got to do quick predictions, even though we've already been predicting the whole predicting episode of predictions.
Now,
Okay.
your AfterBuzz TV.
I want to know. I have a question for you, predictions wise, unless you have something for me.
Okay, I'm ready. I got my prediction glasses on.
After Hometown, since we're getting 2 episodes next week, do you think that Juan Pablo is going to do any overnight dates? Since he was so concerned about the not hooking up in the ocean and having his daughter see that on TV, do you think he's going to remove himself from the overnight dates and not have that be an option like Emily did?
What we saw in the previews for next week, it seems like something really happens in an overnight with Andy. And I'm hoping for his sake that there's a common thread throughout the whole season. He said one thing from the beginning, and hopefully he meets it to the very end. I think that would just be great for his standing, his public view in The Bachelor.
He did make out with a lot of girls.
That's one thing, but he's not having sex with them. I hope he's saving it. You know,
Yeah.
gosh, I sound like a throwback, but
I mean, it sounds like in past seasons, it's not always meant to have sex. It's like the overnight one-on
Right.
rooms or whatever. They just stay up all night long and they talk because that's the first time where they get to talk without cameras being around.
absolutely.
But it is implied.
So,
So
I'm just going by the
Yeah.
preview, and
I will say from watching Bachelor Australia, though, that Bachelor Tim, spoiler if you want to watch it, he refused to go on any of the overnight dates.
Really?
Yeah, he did not share a room with any of the 3 final contestants. So
well, we'll wait. It remains to be seen what Juan Pablo does next week, and it finds out. We're gonna find out how we're gonna do this next week because we're gonna come back on Monday or Tuesday. You'll have to find out. Let us know if you want us to recap Monday or Tuesday,
or both of them.
yeah,
I
or
don't know.
both of them.
Let us
So
know.
that's it tonight. So
Yeah.
Cathy, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley.
And Roya, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at HeyRoya.
Hey Roya.
Hey,
and-
Roya.
Hey Roya. And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Cathy, Roya, I'm JC. Danny, come back. We'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.